Trevor Brown. I'm the town moderator for West Brookfield, and I'll be moderating tonight's discussion. So first off, thank you all for our candidates for coming this evening. We have two candidates for a position on the Board of Selectmen. We also have a contested race for the tree warden. One of the candidates was unable to be here tonight. However, we will be affording one candidate who was able to come the opportunity to speak as well. The questions that will be addressed tonight have been put forth by members of the community. I will present those. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to introduce themselves, as well as 2 minutes to respond to each question put forth. If the candidates would like to respond to remarks made by the other individuals, it may be done in a respectful manner and within a reasonable time frame. That being, each candidate will be limited to a single 1-minute response to their opponent's point. It's at the discretion of the moderator to make decisions regarding time length and appropriate matters of discussion. Please only answer the questions presented. If you have any additional information that is not addressed in the questions presented here tonight, please feel free to speak about them either during your opening statement or during your closing statement. So with that, we will begin. So our two candidates for selectmen, we have James Gagner, Michael Baril, and then we have two candidates for tree warden, Thomas Boudreau, and Kenneth Lacey, who was unable to be here this evening. So our first question, I would like to ask each of the candidates to please introduce themselves briefly. Please state your name and your address in town, indicate the position that you're running for, and briefly discuss why you're interested in serving in this role. So I'm going to offer each of you 3 minutes to discuss that, and we will begin with our candidate for tree warden, Mr. Boudreau.
Good evening, Trevor. Thank you all for coming in attendance tonight. As many of you know, my name is Thomas Boudreau. I live at 380 Bemis Road here in town. I've been in town since 2010. 2009, excuse me. I was elected to the highway surveyor position in May of 2010. This will be my 5th year as highway department. And I'm looking to utilize the equipment that the highway department has to maybe take care of some of the trees, saving some money using the manpower of the highway department. I've had 3 years experience with a tree company. I'm pretty familiar with felling and removal of trees. I'm just looking to save the town some money and utilize the equipment and the manpower of the highway department to do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll now move on to our candidates for the Board of Selectmen, and we will start with Mr. Baril.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Michael Baril, 65 Southbridge Road, Town of Warren. Basically, to describe myself, I've been involved with the town since 2007 with my nonprofit and that I manage. I also am a property owner in town up on Coy Hill Road, have been paying taxes for a while. I became interested in the town. It's a very nice small community. Formerly the town that I came from was the town of Uxbridge. So I was basically looking for a place to find a small community, to build a house and retire here, and that is actually my goal. As far as Warren, everybody here is very friendly. Every day I go to the post office, I must have lots and lots of people to help hold the door open. I've talked to people back from 2007 on forward. Everybody's very nice. To describe me, basically, I used to be a former police officer, part-time reserve officer, so I have some police experience. I also have training in emergency management and terrorism training, which is part of the emergency management aspect of it. So basically, I like to so my goal is to get involved in the community, to work with people, understanding people's problems. I'm also very proficient in public records request and getting information, access to information. As far as the way I operate, I'm a very simple person. I'm not involved in any cliques or anything like that. I'm basically one of those people that likes to get answers, and honest, accountability, government transparency, and interact with anybody. The other thing too is already talked to several business owners in town. There does seem to be a lack of business communications between businesses in town and talking to the Board of Selectmen. So that's one of the things that I would also like to help out too at the same time. I do see, I won't go into the great detail, but I will put together at some point a to-do list of things I'd like to see improvements in the town, everything from community growth to bringing businesses to town. And the number one thing that everybody probably wants is a cell tower somewhere. I have connections with cellular companies to help improve cellular, whether we can get some cellular on town properties and bring it to town or so forth. So pretty much I guess that's it. I have more to offer, but that's all I'll say for now, and I'll add some other stuff in later.
Okay, thank you
Great.
very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Gagner?
Thank you all for coming. My name is Jim Gagner, running for selectman. I became a resident of this town 14 years ago. I bought Teddy Matika's old house up on School Street. My wife and I moved in with my then 3-year-old daughter. Since then, we've added a son. We have 2 children currently in the school system. Now we try to teach our children to be responsible citizens, to help those in need, to give back to the community when they can. I've chosen to take these responsibilities and show them through action as well. I've been a firefighter first responder for the town for 13 years, and now have assisted on the ambulance for about 7 years. I've coached the children's sports teams here in town. Probably some of your kids or grandkids I've coached as well. And donated my time to the school, chaperoning, and very recently helping to build the new play center. My wife and I would like to have our children consider Warren when they start to raise a family. That won't happen unless we make some changes. As a firefighter, I've put my life on the line for this town and the surrounding towns on numerous occasions. I'm asking for your vote on May 5th so I can now put my reputation on the line and work with this community to help move this town forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. With that, we'll move in to the formal question portion of the evening. All of the questions being presented tonight were submitted beforehand by members of the community. Time permitting, we may be able to entertain some additional questions at the end. So again, each of the candidates will be afforded 2 minutes to answer the questions. You'll have 1 minute if you would like to respond to your opponent's questions as well. And if you do hit time, I will inform you of that. So, kind of wrap it up. So this is something that all of the candidates touched on in their opening statements, just to reiterate a little bit of different aspect here as well. How long have you lived in Warren? How many town meetings have you attended? And during your residence, how have you contributed to the community? And again, I think you all did a good job of addressing that. Just to reiterate, in a couple minutes, you'll all be afforded that opportunity. So we'll begin with Mr. Boudreau.
As I said earlier, I've been a resident of the town since 2009. I've attended, I'd say probably 20 or 30 selectmen meetings. I haven't been enough to every town meeting since I've been on the highway department I've been to. And what's the other question? I'm sorry, sir.
Just during your time as a resident, how have you contributed to the community?
My community input has been minimal to a point. I have done the community elementary reading at the school, and I have done some stuff with the Earth Day, contributed with that, and I've done a little bit of stuff in my personal time. I planted some flowers in various locations. But my community service at this time has been minimal.
Thank you very much. Okay. Begin, Mr. Baril.
Been a resident, an official resident since February of this year. I've been involved in the town since 2007 as far as paying taxes and so forth. As far as attending Board of Selectmen's meetings, I have the past 2 years been attending Board of Selectmen's meetings, not every single one, but both of them. As far as town meetings, I have been to several town meetings over the past 2 or 3 years that I have attended. At that point in time, I was a non-resident, and I did attend and have been taking notes and learning about the town. In regards to contributing to the community, I have contributed some money with the the Boy Scouts, some of the events that they have, we've donated some money. And I was going to get involved in one of the functions on the town common. I think it was the Christmas tree event or whatever that I had planned on attending, but I wasn't able to. So, but I am planning, and I would like to certainly get more involved in the community to be able to do more.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Gagner?
As I previously stated, I've been a resident here for 14 years, and I immediately began contributing to this community. This is where I wanted to raise my family. This is where I am raising my family. Stated previously, I'm on the fire department, have been for 13 years, been on the ambulance for a total of 7 years. Anytime there's a function at the school, the Boy Scouts, the ladies that are trying to raise money for the town hall, the reconstruction, they're doing the raffles and all that. They're always selling tickets out in front of the, I believe it's the post office. I'm out there buying those. You do what you can because you need to give to the community. This community needs to come together as a whole. There's a lot of separation right now, and that's due to a lot of anger about the situation that this town is in. I want to try to bring everybody together so that we can take this and move forward. And I have not missed a town meeting. I went to a few when I first got here, then I was working nights for about 3 years. I don't think I've missed one in the last 5 to 6 years.
Okay. Thank you all very much. As I mentioned earlier, the candidates do have the opportunity, if they'd like to respond to any of the statements made by the other candidates. So I'll afford that opportunity now. If anyone would like to, please let me know and I'll recognize you.
I'm good.
I'm also, thank you.
Okay. So we'll move on to our next question. This is specifically directed as our candidate for tree warden. So again, I believe that you addressed this in your opening statement, but if you just kind of discuss what you see as the central role as the tree warden in town, and then what skill set do you have that would be useful to this job?
Most of the tree stuff that I've seen in town so far has been pretty much removal of dead trees or whenever there's a catastrophe where there's trees up in the air. I would be taking that same role as well, but with the aspect of I have the ability to do a little bit more with the combined efforts of the highway department. In the long haul, it would save the town some significant money, and it would just be able to clean up some of the roadsides a little bit more. That's kind of what I'm looking to do, and so forth.
Okay, great, thank you very much. Moving on to our next question, this is directed to our candidates for the Board of Selectmen. What would you do as a member of the Board of Selectmen to encourage new business in town? And I will allow Mr. Baril if you'd like to speak to that point.
My approach would be to, I know there has been some discussion, there are some changes in the works with the planning board and the zoning and so forth. So that would be one of the first things that I would tackle, would be to check on the status of zoning. Because there have been some businesses that have tried to come in and there's been some problems with the zoning. So after getting an idea going with that, I would certainly like to reach out to businesses, definitely through the Board of Selectmen, and talk to some of the current businesses as well. That's actually something that I was interested, if I am elected for selectmen, was being almost like a business liaison, where any businesses had issues or whatever, that they could come directly to me and make that there would be some type of communications, better communications than there is now, from businesses to the Board of Selectmen. I think also things that need to be looked at are certain buildings in town. What can be done to upgrade those or to attract businesses, whether it be vacant land or whatever. But even even just a general ad in the paper per se might be might sway businesses to come to town. I would certainly at some point, to help kind of get a better answer on that, would be to talk with some of the businesses in town and see what the pros and cons that they have. So if they say, well, this type of food business is good, it's good for revenue or whatever, then that would give me an opportunity to try and market that type of business, as an example, to come to town. But I do definitely agree, we do need, including small businesses, and I encourage people that anybody that does run a small business out of your home to continue to do it. In addition, also, you also want to recruit, look after bigger businesses that would be like Colfax, for example, where they have a plant, a warehouse, and anything like that, bring in income.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Baril, but you're at time.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
Okay, and Mr. Gagner?
My job as it stands right now is working for one of the largest workforce management software companies on the planet. I'm a team lead for a team of lead development representatives. Our job is to find companies that are making money and that are looking for expansion, and to find out what their growth plan is, and then plant the seeds for our product to help them move into the future. I want to take that skill set and apply it to this town. This is a great town. There's a lot of great things in this town. There's a lot of great people in this town. It's not packaged properly. There's a lot of people who are not, let's just say, keeping up with their property as they should. And what I mean by that is, it takes money to paint, it takes money to restore, I understand that. It doesn't take money to rake up your front yard. It doesn't take money to keep the trash and the couches or whatever off of the front of your property. Have some pride in where you live, and it will show when people drive through here. I can bring businesses into this town to look, but if it doesn't look right, they're gonna do like everybody else, and they're just gonna drive right through.
Okay, thank you very much. Do either of you have any comments to make in regards to the other statement?
I'm good.
I'm all set, thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next question is regarding the Quabog School District. So for the Board of Selectmen, the Quabog Regional School District is asking both West Brookfield and Warren to contribute over the mandated assessment looking at this year. What is your position on this matter? How do you feel it should be addressed, not only this year but also moving forward? So you can speak a little bit to the school budget. Mr. Baril?
Okay. To be honest, I'm not 100% familiar with the current situation on the school budget. Would you be able to rephrase the question again, if you don't mind, please?
Yeah, so the school district is asking both Warren and West Brookfield to contribute over the minimum assessment, the mandated assessment for this year. So what is your position on this, and how do you feel it should be addressed this year and then moving forward as well?
Oh, okay. Well, I think as I remember, I did attend the finance committee meeting that did discuss this. I know there were some changes with the school teachers and so forth and stuff like that had made it come over budget. I guess the best thing, not being 100% familiar with the situation, my thoughts would be to basically to meet with them, work out the numbers, and because we only have so much to work with, and the last thing that we want is it to keep going up and up every year. I understand that there was even an increase last year, and we have an increase this year. Other than that, I do apologize. I'm not 100% familiar with what's going on, so I don't want to insinuate something. But thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Gagner?
They asked for $833,000 over level funding from last year. It's an extraordinary number. Granted, they do one of the toughest jobs out there. They're trying to prepare our children to make it in the world. Not the easiest thing to do. Now, when you look at their budget, the largest budget item is salaries. Second largest budget item is their insurance. I know that when you look at insurance, there are many various things you can look at. I believe I had asked regarding their copay for an office visit, what that is. It is not large. And I asked what the emergency room copay was, and that was not large. I know what mine are. I'm sure you all know what yours are, okay? There is always wiggle room. There is always negotiation. There is always a place to look to find a cut. What I would like to see is I would like to see the school come to us and say, this is absolutely what we need, but let's be fair. Let's look at a 5 to 10 year plan to get us where we need to be. They're doing amazing things up there with what they have right now, and they should all be commended for that. I don't think this town can afford that amount of money. So there will be negotiation, and it'll go to town vote, and let the people vote on it, and let it fall where it will.
Thank you very much, both of our candidates. Any additional comments you'd like to make?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you very much. Our next question was submitted, as with the others, by a resident of the town regarding campaign slogans that our candidates for the Board of Selectmen are using. So, Mr. Baril, your slogan is a pledge for change. Well, Mr. Gagner, your slogan is moving forward together. So both of these, to some degree, are looking at change or looking towards the future. So if you could both just briefly discuss what these mean to you, how they frame your message, and kind of frame what you would like to do if elected to office. I think that would be helpful for the people here and the people at home as well. So, start with you, Mr. Baril.
Yes, a pledge for change. Basically, that means that my personal commitment and undertaking to make changes within the town of Warren government. So what that means is basically I'm pledging my commitment and undertaking, which anybody knows as a Board of Selectmen individual is a lot of work. So I'm prepared to go full bore forward and do what I have to do to help improve the town, to listen, and then there are eventually things to be done. Once I create a to-do list on some things that I can see that need improvement, and to go forward.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Gagner?
Thank you. Moving forward together is important to me because I'm very team-oriented. I have my team that when we go on a call, we go in, we get the job done. The team in this instance is the town, and the town needs to come together, and the town needs to be looked at and ask questions, and the town needs to say, we don't want to continue sliding backwards. We want to move forwards, and we want to work with you to do that. And as a Board of Selectmen member, if I am elected, I'm going to look to the town. I'm going to look for your help, and your help, and your help to move this town forward, because that's what it's all about. No one man can do it. It has to be a community effort.
All right, thank you both very much. Any additional comments that either of you would like to make?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you very much. Our next question for all three of our candidates. I was hoping that you could each discuss what issue, single issue, you feel is facing the town that needs to be addressed most critically moving forward. Now you can speak to this whether it's relative directly to your position or more broadly. But if you just speak to what single issue you feel needs to be addressed most critically moving forward.
Excuse me, can I interrupt for a minute?
Yes.
Someone's dog is outside in their vehicle and the dog has been barking for I don't know how long. Somebody should really check on that dog. I don't know whose dog it is, but it's in a white vehicle.
That's my dog.
Yeah, the thing
It's
is out there
fine.
barking away. Is
Yeah,
it okay
that's-
out there? Is
oh,
it
yeah.
too hot?
No,
You should check on the dog, really.
no, he's
It's
fine.
been barking for like 20 minutes.
That's because there's something either around.
Well,
He's fine.
I need to take a look.
Thank you very much.
There's nothing around, and are all the windows up? In the vehicle, they need air. It's pretty hot out there in the sun. I'm sorry. But the law is, they shouldn't be in there if it's too hot.
Then go file a complaint against me.
There's an
Will
officer in the
continue,
room
please?
here.
Thank
Excuse
you.
me, we
That
got a
is
meeting
the
going
law.
on here.
I understand the
Right.
concern here. Thank you for bringing it to light. If it needs to be addressed further, please take it out in the hallway. Back to our discussion at hand. Just to reiterate the question for all of our candidates, please discuss what single issue you feel is most critically facing this town that needs to be addressed moving forward, whether it is relative to your position or more generally. So, Mr. Boudreau, if you'd like to address that.
In my opinion, in the overall point, as far as a town departments, I think the most critical point in moving the town forward would be to have the departments within the whole town working hand in hand. I know some of it goes on pretty well now with some departments. I'm not so sure with others. Finances is another one, and I think the finances relation to that would be to get some type of business in town.
Thank you very much. Mr. Baril?
I would say, I know there's several of them that I could think of, but just to pick one. The lack of communications between departments. It does seem that, I've done some public records requests, and some of the documents seem to show that sometimes there's no accountability or lack of communications between certain departments. That, in my opinion, is one of my things that would be on my list to have improved. And I think because of that, and some of the issues that I have seen is issues of money being spent where somebody decides to purchase something and without consulting with another department or asking another person another question, where we end up, the town ends up purchasing this item and then we say, oh, well, we could have got it cheaper over here, or vice versa, or whatever. And I think that there's been, that I've noticed a lot of money spent on certain things that should need to be spent. And the other thing that it all connects to are the town council bills in a way as well. Some of the town council bills I've seen, I have questionable things on it, about why things were done. And I think if there was a better communications within this Shepherd Municipal Building, I think that a lot of that would save everybody money.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Gagner?
One of the single biggest issues facing this town is apathy. People have heard so much for so long and done so much with so little that they're numb to it. I'd like to spark them back up. I would love to be the linchpin that gets the downward spiral stopped and hopefully some forward motion. There are a lot of great people in this town that would love to get back in and contribute, that would love to take pride in what we do and not be a naysayer and not try to nitpick at everything, but to actually look at an issue and say, how do I solve it? Not who's responsible for it. There'll be time to look at that. Right now is the time to change the attitude, to move forward, to look to the future, or this town's gonna die.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to all of our candidates. If any of you would like to make a follow-up statement.
So thank you.
Thank you very much. So our next question is for the candidates for the Board of Selectmen. If you could please discuss your position regarding any plans for the former town hall, whether that be renovations, repairs, reuse. Moving forward, where do you see the structure, and do you have any ideas for moving forward? So, Mr. Baril, would you like to speak to that?
Sure. My opinion on the town hall is that it's a very good building. I know it has a lot of history here in this town, and I do agree that it should be renovated, repaired, put to some use, whether it be whatever's in there, whether any particular form of government, whether it stay as the police station, or whether it be the library, or whether it be anything else. But as far as and a couple of years ago, I did actually pull out and do records requests for the documents about renovating it and all that costs. And I think it's at some point in time, the townspeople need to determine what they want to do with that building. And if we decide that we do want to renovate it and make it part of the history of the town of Warren, money needs to be put aside to come up with a plan to fix, repair it, or whatever. in my opinion, I'm not interested in tearing it down, but I think because it is a historic building in this town, that we should do something with it, and it should be some type of public building here. So I agree, yes, something needs to be done, and that is one of the things that I would do, would be to continue to work forward and see what we can do and find out a price quote, which I think we already have some price quotes on, renovating the building. But that is my thought, yes, it should be renovated, repair, because that's, like Jim had said, when people drive through town and go to the Warren Post Office, that's the building they see. And when people see the building and the antenna cables hanging down and, it looks a little, so-so, it definitely needs to be, fixed up, so, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Gallagher?
Gagner.
Gagner,
It's all
sorry.
good, thank you, been called worse. Town Hall was once one of the crown jewels of this town. A lot of people who've been in here their whole life attended plays in there, went to dances in there. And from my understanding, the town hall used to be an actual town hall, where the town offices were. It would be wonderful to be able to bring that back to where it was. This town is in too tough of a situation to do that right now. Put that on a plan moving forward, that once we start getting some business in here, once we start getting some revenue in here, once we start getting some more people coming through town where we can have a better tax base, then we can start to look at it. If people want to raise money to keep it as it is, that's fine. I like the building, and I think the architecture, I've been in there a bunch of times, I think it's beautiful. We have to stop the bleeding now. Then we can look at what we can fix. We have to make sure that Warren is gonna stay Warren and not become annexed by somewhere else because we've run out of money. Once we have our stuff together, we can then start to look at pet projects. That's my take.
Okay, thank you both very much. Any additional comments that either of you would like to make?
Good.
Okay.
So, thank you.
And then another question for our candidates for the Board of Selectmen. What action do you think should be taken regarding the town libraries? If you'd please kind of explain that and some of your rationale for that, I think it would definitely be appreciated. So we'll begin with Mr. Baril.
Okay, yes, Michael Baril. Regarding the town libraries, I had actually attended the Board of Selectmen meeting when the two libraries were here just recently, a few weeks ago, discussing the merger. In my personal opinion, I do agree that the town needs to come to some kind of decision on merging the libraries. Either way, we do know that the two libraries are not handicap accessible. Mr. Delansky had brought up about possibly looking at a different building to possibly do that and have that upgraded versus trying to pick one or the other and have that upgraded. So yes, so that does need to be, the issue does need to be addressed. I know on the special town meeting, the meeting warrant we have coming up, there is a discussion about merging of the libraries. But definitely, yes, something needs to be done, and whether it's a possibility of possibly using the current town hall as maybe the library, or using the current building where the Warren Library is now, that's a possibility. But I know we'll take many more meetings to get both libraries here and get public's opinion on what we think, where is the right place to do. In my opinion, I am for a library, so we definitely need a library where people can go and check, have internet access and so forth, so. I guess that's all for me now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Gagner?
We do need a library. Okay, there are a lot of people in this town that do not have internet access. I know that sounds amazing to some, but it's true. They need that library. That's their only access to the outside. We have been hearing at just about every town meeting at least a half hour's worth of internal struggle from both libraries. We also hear every town meeting that they're gonna merge. Hasn't happened yet. There does come a time when you're at the plate that you have to swing when the pitch comes in. It's time for the libraries to swing when the pitch comes in, or they're out. We do need libraries. We do need a place for these kids and some adults to go. But we can't have constant fighting back and forth internally. They need to get their stuff together and then come up with a plan on what they want to do. Because I don't think they're gonna like what everyone else has to say if it comes down to a point of, this is what you have to do. It's so much better to come up with your own plan than to have someone else tell you what to do. So they need to get their stuff together and they need to come up with a plan.
Okay, thank you very much. Any additional comments that either of you would like to make?
And also,
Okay. So this concludes the formal questions that were put forward by members of the community that was submitted for tonight's discussion. As this event was billed and set forward as questions should be submitted beforehand, I'd like to follow that model, so I'm glad that we were able to hit all of the questions presented here tonight. I would like, however, allow all of the candidates kind of a final opportunity to make a closing statement. If you could again, please state your name, the positions you're running for, especially for those who are viewing at home. I think that would be helpful. And given that we stayed right on time and moved things along quite quickly, if you take more than 2 minutes, I won't stop you. So we'll start again with our candidate for tree warden, Mr. Boudreau.
Thank you again, Trevor. Thank you for those that are attending, those that are watching TV. Again, my name is Thomas Boudreau. I live on 380 Bemis Road. And with your support, with a vote on May 5th for tree warden, I'm looking to incorporate my knowledge from 3 years of working with a tree company to remove and prune the trees in this town by utilizing the highway department to save the town some money with the reduction of manpower and the equipment we have with the highway department. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Baril?
yes. Michael Baril, 65 Southbridge Road 1. I guess in closing for me, as I said, I'm a very simple person. I'm open-minded to anything. I encourage anybody, if anybody has any questions or would like to come speak to me, you can get a hold of me. Actually, one thing I will put out is my phone number if anybody has any questions and does want to get a hold of me. It's 413-436-7880. Again, 436-7880, and press extension 0 for the operator. That'll ring directly to me. As far as me, I'm a very enthusiastic person. I've been involved in this community since 2007. Just recently now have a residence here. And I'm very, very excited to be able to work with everybody, including the senior citizens, working with the taxpayers, residents, businesses, and also working in town government. As I said, one niche I have is obviously my cell phone. It's very tough to drive from one side of the town without the cell phone cutting out. So yes, so I will eventually have a list of 50 things, put together a small little to-do list. And if I am elected, what I'd like to do is tackle things on my to-do list on a monthly basis, and make sure that if somebody asks for something to be done, that it is done. And not just, saying, yeah, next month. So basically, as I said, I cover accountability, honesty, change, attitude, ability, and welcome anybody to talk to me. For those of you that know me, have known me for several years. I'm always there for you, and I always want to be here for the town of Warren. My goal of officially having a residency here is to build my house and live and retire here. I actually work here in town full-time now, so I'm very excited when I drive around and see people and say hi, and they say hi to me, and or I go to local stores and buy food or whatever. That's what I like to see, small town and self-improvement. So please vote for me on 5th for Board of Selectmen, and again, thank you for your time and appreciate your time listening. Thank you.
Okay, Thank you very much. And Mr. Gagner?
I'd like to thank everyone for coming, thank everyone for watching at home, and thank you for coming out to moderate. Appreciate it. Simple statement. Rights. Hardwick Knitters. Tebow's. Dez's Pizza. Cakettes. These are a few of the businesses that have left town. They're not coming back. This town is reaching a critical moment. Without the help, support, and dedication that this town needs, it will go under. Questions you have to ask yourself this election: do you want this town to move forward? Do you want to stop the downward slide? And are you willing to do what it takes to help out? I'm asking for your vote not for myself, not for yourself, but for the next generation, so that they can be proud to call Warren home. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you all very much for coming tonight and for speaking. Thank you everyone who was able to make it here tonight, those of you watching at home. Hopefully this evening was able to bring some pertinent issues to the forefront, illuminate the positions of some of the candidates, and will hopefully allow all of you here, all of you watching at home, the information to make an informed decision in the upcoming election. To our candidates especially, thank you very much, like I said, for coming, but also for your willingness to get involved in local government. It's really central to the strength of any community. And again, thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of this night as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Just a few quick announcements moving forward. The 2014 Warren Annual Report will be available on the town's website later this week. And if you would like a hard copy, they will be available next week. And then, of course, the town election will be held on May 5th. So please get out there and vote, have your voices heard, and hopefully it's been an informative evening. So thank you very much.
I have a couple comments, if I may.
Of course.
I've been involved to agree in these town meetings for 6-7 months. I listen to you people. A lot of words, a lot of words. Words are a cheap commodity. Instead of talking, you know, plan, action, and results. We don't have that now. It's just talk. Secondly, being a resident for 2 years, 10 years, or 20 does not make you a leader. Period.
Thank you very much for that. As the night was set up, we were not going to take any questions from the audience. They were supposed to be submitted beforehand, but we do appreciate all of you coming out and for sharing your views and, of course, being informed on the issue. So thank you very much. This concludes the formal part of tonight's evening. I'm sure our candidates will be able to stick around and chat with anyone who would like to speak to them a little bit more. If you have any other questions, feel free to approach them. With that ends the formal portion of this evening. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
That's all I have. Yeah, next one.
It's not a problem, I understand. Especially, like I said, you've been here for a while and you see the way things are going in the town. It's important to be involved and to take a stand and have an opinion. So I appreciate it. Not a problem at all. And 43, less than an hour, so we moved it right along. It's good to see you, Mr. Kordak. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I didn't move it along too fast there. Good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I hope everything's well.
You need to take my dog.
Really appreciate it. We moved it along less than an hour, so it's good. Well, it's very nice to meet you, man. Very nice to meet you.
Oh, I know. And the other thing that's
What do you think?
Nobody
Is that okay? All right, I won't take it long.
They should have fought. You're the second guy you have to do that.
exactly. Something wrong with her?